and welcome back. This is the episode 2 of what it looks like to travel during pandemic. Episode 1 covers the international flight and episode 2 covers the domestic flight. On this video, let's talk about the things you need to know before you travel. This is the flight Manila Dumaguete with the current health protocols in place. First and foremost, coordinate with your province local government unit or LGU. What are the requirements you should know before you book your flight to avoid delay and possible unnecessary expenses when you travel? On our case, we belong to the classification of Returning Overseas Filipino. Dumaguete City, the capital of Negros Oriental, requires these documents from ROF or Returning Overseas Filipino if you are OFW or LSI or locally stranded individuals. You may have different requirements. That is something to check out. To break it down, here are the following requirements as the returning overseas. Number 1, a negative result of RT-PCR test or the swab test that was done upon arrival in Philippines. This was covered in episode 1. If you missed that, I will link the video in the description. Number 2, the certificate of quarantine from the Philippine Bureau of Quarantine. This can be obtained online after getting the result of the RT-PCR test. You may process this certificate, and I'll also put a link in the description of this video. Number 3, the certificate of acceptance from Dumaguete City. After obtaining the negative result of RT-PCR test and the certificate of quarantine, you will have to email these documents to the City Tourism Office. They will issue the certificate of acceptance. Only then you can book your domestic flight. Please note that you cannot book your flight without these documents, otherwise your name will not be in the airlines allowed to book a flight. We are finally boarding, we are on the way to the plane, and we cannot wait to go home. The Manila airport has been very impressive in terms of organization. There is a big difference between Manila Airport now and before. Now it's less chaos and everything is organized. As you can see here, the flight crew members are equipped with personal protective gears to protect themselves, which is really cool. And we finally arrived in Dumaguete City, and look at that. It's a little bit misty. It had rained a little bit. The grounds are wet, but we got clear skies. Upon arrival, there were a series of document checks before you could get your luggages, and also contact tracing, registration, and all that stuff. Well, just get your documents with you all the time, and also a rapid test was conducted upon exiting the airport. Another thing to note as well is there is a requirement of 14-day quarantine upon arrival in the province. An LGU transportation is provided to take you from the airport to the quarantine facility or a quarantine hotel that you choose. So here we were checked if we have all the documents that we need prior to proceeding to the sanitation process. Well, it was a little bit dodgy. It wasn't organized on this part because there were no proper lines or queue. We went there ahead, but some people just, bugged in front of us. And yeah, stuff like that happens sometimes. We've been waiting for our turn, but a lot of people just, come and insert their way in, made their way out before us. As you can see, this area is under construction. I think I was crumbling on which document he was talking about. I just got a lot of documents with me.
Okay na? Eh. Tao. Babe.
Sa gawas kayo, you will be having a rapid testing. Before you leave, you bring all your luggages.
Namay niya mga LG.
Dumaguete.
Asa mo ko ani, sir, ani?
Sige, ipanaog daan ma'am. Tapos diya ma'am, talay rata rapid na ta. Uban, okay na. Pwede na ta mo exit.
So after getting our luggages, we were directed to have the rapid test outside the airport. The guy on a megaphone is announcing the LGU transportations that are available to take everyone to the quarantine facilities. So this is the rapid test. It was just a quick prick on the finger, just like what you're having when you have a, blood test. There was an offer of free lunch, but we were not hungry, so we didn't take it. So here we are directed to a tent where we were sorted out which LGU we have to go through. So LGU Dumaguete will take Dumaguete passengers to the Dumaguete quarantine facility. Otherwise, other LGUs are taking their passengers as well to their respected facilities. So here we are on board the Lupad Dumaguete bus, taking us to our respective quarantine facilities. I think we will be dropped off first because we are nearer. So this is on the way to One Bethany Place from the airport to EJ Blanco Drive. Finally, it's good to see blue skies after the rain. And yeah, bring on the island vibe. So we finally arrived in One Bethany Place, and yeah, this is what the reception looks like. During the quarantine period, we were checked every day if we are developing any symptoms, as well as temperature check. After 7 days, you may be allowed to continue your quarantine at home. I asked the nurse on duty if we could continue our quarantine at home. He said that I have to write a letter to the mayor with a valid reason why you want to continue at home. So I did that, In our case, I mentioned in the letter that one of us has been closely monitored due to elevated blood pressure, and that staying in one room without any activity and not eating home cooked meals is not helping this situation. Also, I have mentioned that my daughter has been absent from her online class due to a very slow internet connection. So then we were approved to continue our quarantine at home. We were beyond happy that we are finally going home. The city provided us the transportation to take us home. We were not allowed to go home on our own as a protocol. So that's it, guys. That is our ordeal. I hope this video will help someone out there who are looking to travel very soon. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching until the end. And we will be posting cooking, baking, and cake decorating, and probably gardening, plus. There will be a lot of new stuffs here in this channel. Oh, by the way, this is the transportation from the LGU who took us home. Well, thank you very much. From now on until 7 days, we are staying home, not contacting anybody, and no visitors allowed, and we will just stay chill, and we have a lot of things to do in the garden, which is the best way to quarantine. We have a lot to clean up, lots of stuff to do. All right, guys, thank you. Stay safe and be well.